Today we're going to make some dill pickles. I have this machine, and I'll put it in the links below. Now what I've got here is 11 pounds of cucumbers. You have to trim the ends. I've got a bucket down here in the bottom. I'll trim all these ends. And then we'll put them through here. I like to get all my ends done first. This 11 pounds, it usually takes 9 to 11 pounds to do 7 quarts. Got these big number 5s on the cucumbers. So I like my dill spears big. I know you can't see it right now, but I have 3 canners going over here. They all have jars in them, sterilizing. So when I get these ready, the jars will be ready. Hoping that my brine is also going to be ready to go in that amount of time. You check that right now. Turned all my pots back up to medium. Alright. There's a spike in here that you start this on. Right there is all your pickle spears. Can you look in the paperwork and tell them what that is, because I can't remember the name of it, and I'm going to put a link. We have Amazon affiliate links that we'll be putting in the bottom in the description, so you can look for it there.
Tiger Chef heavy duty commercial French fry cutter.
It is a Tiger Chef heavy duty commercial French fry cutter. Can't tell if that focused on that or not, but we'll see. Yeah, I just cut 11 pounds of cucumbers like it was nothing. I'm cheating today. I usually don't. I usually do it where you cut them, leave them on ice for 2 hours after you slice them up. But today, we're in a hurry. So we're using Mrs. Wage's dill pickle mix. Cut it straight into the jar, and then process it. I'm trying to get enough to get all these turns going at one time so we can get this done. Go, we'll start packing these jars. Lay it on their side, pack them as tight as we can get them in there. And I pack them tight. I don't want anything floating to the top. That's probably about it. If I had a canner that's big enough to do half-gallon jars, I would probably do some whole dills. But I had a lead on a canner, a water bath canner that was large enough to do that, and guy sold it before I could get to it to pick it up. Alright, now that we have this, need to fill these up. What you want is a 1/2 inch head space on these. We'll have to add some more, I'm sure, because they'll, as the bubbles come out, they'll liquid will go down. What I have in here, I put some hot boiling water and vinegar in this pot with my lids. The recommendation today is that you don't soak your lids, you don't warm your lids, but I was always taught to do it, so I'm still going to do it. I haven't had any problems. Now what we're going to do is I'm going to take this towel, paper towel, and we'll dip it in that where it is hot, but I'm going to wipe all of our rims with this vinegar water, and it'll get anything off the top, and I can feel it. I can feel that there's stuff on there, so I'll move to a clean spot on here. And we can also tell if there's any nicks in here in the glass, because if there's any chips or nicks in the glass, you do not want to use that jar, because that jar will not seal. Somebody went in the house. I don't even know who, didn't even know he was out here. Like I said, that jar will not seal if there's a nick or a crack in the top. I'm going to go every one of these jars like this. And I skipped a step. I need to make sure that there's no bubbles in here, but I don't think there are. We have sat long enough. I've got these in here so tight that yeah, they'll be fine. Alright, put one of these lids on each one. Try not to touch the bottom part of it. Try not to touch the lid. These are hot. If I think they're hot, they're hot. What most of you don't know about me is that I do this, and I'm taking a chance of getting burned. I really am. I have peripheral neuropathy. It gets pretty bad at times, but right now it's not so bad. I take some medication for it. I don't let it bother me. I keep going. We're going to take these and we're going to go finger tight. All of my rings have been well used. And I have a lot of rings. They, you know, whenever you buy new jars, you get new rings. I haven't bought jars in a long time, but I can keep canning because I save all my rings unless they get too rusty to use. These are just discolored. They're not really rusty because we have hard water. I do put some vinegar in my water. Once these jars have sealed, we'll take the rings off. The reason for storing them with the rings off is if for some reason you lose a seal, say your storage room, your pantry got hot and then cooled off and it popped a jar. If you have a ring on it, you can get what's called a false seal. It'll look like it's sealed because as it cools back down from being hot, it'll seal itself again. However, you shouldn't eat that jar. The only fail-safe way of knowing if you have a lid that's popped is by taking the rings off. Because if it pops, it won't make another false seal. It'll just be loose. Back in that hot water. I don't have the conventional racks in here that you would normally see that you lift up out of the pot. I'm using my dividers from my pressure canner. You don't need the one that you can lift out. It's convenient to have. All you need is to keep them off the direct bottom of the pot. And the reason I use this is I can still only get 7 in here. But when I'm doing pints, I can get a lot more in. This pot may be a little over full. Yes. So what I have to do is ladle some of this out. What I do, when I take the jars out from being sterilized, I dump some of the water back into it so that the water that's in it is hot, and I don't have to put cold water in it to get it to come back up to a boil. This is another part of the reason why I can outside. This will not take long to come back up. I need to get one more jar in here. Alright, I'm going to turn these up. Roll them back up to high. They may even be boiling before I put the lids on them. Not quite. When these pots come back up to a boil, I need to boil them for 15 minutes. It's 15 minutes for quarts and 10 minutes if I had it done pints. We're going to wait until it gets to a rolling boil. Okay, it sounds like they're boiling. Alright, after these boil for 10 minutes, we turn the pot way down low and let them sit in here with the lid off for 5 minutes. Now we can take them out, sit them over here. This is what you get after a couple hours of Can Dill Pickles. We have 35 quarts. I have 2 cases of cucumbers left. So those will be turned into relish.